What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Horror Honda, where I sit in my beat up Honda and I ramble about horror movies. And today we are rambling about a very, I found out later, controversial film in Late Night with the Devil. And this film, I'll say right out the gate, checks all the boxes for what I like in a horror movie. So I was a huge fan of this. And it tells the story of a talk show host in the 70s who was competing with Johnny Carson to be the top dog in these talk shows. And this is filmed as if it's a lost piece of media on Halloween night in, I believe, 1977. And he's got one last hurrah to compete with the ratings to finally top Johnny. And he's got a skeptic on there, he's got a psychic on there, and he also has a woman with a girl who claims that she can speak through her to the devil. And what unfolds in that night is all in real time. And that's the biggest upside of this, and I think it's so badass. And it's something I've always wanted to see more of in movies, because I think of a movie like Slackers or even Dazed and Confused, or things that I really enjoy, movies that take place in one day. But to see a horror movie take place in real time, where this is 5 minutes of exposition, then you act as if you put in a tape or a lost film, and it starts and it's this episode kicking off like a 70s talk show would, and then it's the full hour whatever runtime of a talk show to its ending. And to me, that concept, that style of filmmaking, that writing is just badass. I love the concept. So out the gate, they already had me hooked. I went into this knowing nothing other than the controversy, which I will touch on towards the end of this video. I had absolutely no idea what the plot of this movie was. Completely blind. And when I realized after the exposition what this was going to be, I was so excited. And then when I saw the execution of it, I was elated that I got a film that reached to something that I've always, for some reason, loved the thought of. And with that comes the acting that I thought was also phenomenal, because he's having to go from acting as a 70s talk show host during the scenes. I mean, again, there's no spaces, there's no cuts. It's not cutting 10 minutes out of the show here and 10 out of there. And no, it's real time. So he's got to act like a talk show host, say the stupid quips, have his dumb assistant, blah, 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 do all this. And when they hit a commercial break, that's when the cameras go black and white, and it changes to where it's a camera filming behind the scenes. Like you would see, grainy black and white footage showing behind the scenes. They go, you got 2 minutes till commercials are up. And so you have literal 2 minutes of him doing dialogue or this, that, or the other. He's got to go back on stage, deal with whatever just happened, and then flip it on for the camera and act like a 70s talk show host where he's whoa, 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 making all stupid jokes like that. I fucking loved it. The acting to do that, it was so refreshing. And I've never heard of these actors, and that could just be me. I might be stupid. They might be the biggest stars. I have no idea. This is my first time to see any of them. I loved it. And I don't want to give too much away, but the practical effects in this movie I thought were great. And there was CGI, and for some reason, and maybe it's because I just loved the concept so much, I can kind of see the movie through rose-tinted glasses. I don't know. The CGI I saw after I had watched it, I like to see what other people's kind of feelings are. A lot of people had issue with the CGI in this. I did not. I thought it was kind of a cool melding, because you had the look of a 70s talk show, like you're looking at it through the TV. It's got a filter, I guess it would, like sepia, whatever it's called, that like tan filter. It's got that over it, and it's kind of grainy, so it looks like you're watching a talk show in the 70s. And you have these moments of CGI where the effects look cheesy like a 70s show would today. So when you think, for example, electrical issue, you wouldn't imagine Flash Gordon style looking lightning bolts going across, like that's cheap. But with this, it melds that old time effects where if you were trying to make a crazy effect in 75, it's not going to hold up today. So they have that mixed with solid practical effects, but honestly brutal practical effects, and it's not over the top gory, but when they use it, it's used right, mixed with modern CGI that I thought all of it melded together and just made a unique viewing experience where you kind of are in a time capsule, but you're also modernizing that time capsule, and I fucking loved it. Even you're gonna come down to the ending, and it's kind of a little, it's kind of slower in the first act, especially. In the second act, it kind of picks up. Third act is a little rushed and kind of quirky and weird at points. That did so much for me because for me personally, I got sucked into the fact that this was a talk show. I'm watching it in real time, on beat. And so you get wrapped into when's this going to come? He's going to interview this person next. What are they going to do? You feel like you're sitting on your couch watching it. And so I didn't mind the slow buildup of Act 1. Act 2 kind of picked up in Act 3. Here we go. I think that really built it for me personally. And some people, this is going to be slow and droning. This is going to be cheesy. It's going to be this, that. For my taste, that slow burn, to see something happen in real time, the mixing of generations of effects was fantastic. And the controversy in this, which it's the only thing I heard of, was they used AI in the film. Now, I had no idea at what point it was used. I didn't look into the articles. I had just seen the headlines, the titles. That's as much as I knew about this film. When I watched it, I was waiting for a scene that I could kind of glaringly pick up that this is AI. I didn't see those. I went through after I watched and looked up and saw what it was. And this might be, I don't have a dog in the fight in the whole AI, should it be used, should it not be used, should it be credited, should it not be credited. I'll be honest, I've never thought about it. It's never crossed my mind, so it's not that I'm for or against any of this. Genuinely, never put a second of thought into it. I didn't notice it in the film, and when I looked back on it, it just kind of, it added to the weirdness. Remember how I was saying it kind of meshed 70s effects with practical, with CGI, with this? It just seemed like another quirky aesthetic to the film, that it wasn't something that just jutted out to me and took me out of the movie. I didn't even notice it, and two, when I did notice it, it just, like I said, melding generations, it seems like it just kind of put it all into one. And for some reason, filmmaking wise, aesthetically, vibe, that struck with me. The 70s is my favorite era of horror and time. I love all music and all movies, but 70s music and 70s films are usually at my top. So I like that aesthetic and that atmosphere, and to just kind of mix and match and meld, this movie did a lot for me. I was a huge fan of it, and I saw that it's got pretty high ratings and there's a lot of buzz around it, so it's not like I'm saying anything groundbreaking or I'm the odd man out. Typically, I have kind of off-base horror opinions. For this one, I see the consensus is a lot of people enjoyed this. I am one of them. It's not going to be so art housey and out there like some David Lynch thing where it's not for everybody. I mean, this isn't necessarily for everybody, but it's not so far out there that it's for a select group, and it's not so just cut and dry horror. It's something that I think you genuinely have to give a shot to see if you do or don't like this. I think it's not one of those you can see the trailer and kind of make your mind up. I think you need to give it a go and then make your mind up. I don't think you can just cut and dry make this one, I'm going to check it out or I'm not. Like, you can look at a trailer for Night Swim and go, that's not a movie for me. This one I don't believe is that. So guys, let me know down below what your thoughts were. Is it worth the hype? Did you hate this movie? Did the AI take you out of it? Did the cheesy effects take you out of it? Did that heighten your experience? Put it all down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If there's any other movies you want me to check out, let me know. I got to get out of this Honda because I have no AC, but that's our next project. Actually, the next project on the Horror Honda for anyone who gives a shit. But that's the joy of the Horror Honda, as I sit in this piece of shit that hopefully before your eyes I can make beautiful. First step, power steering. I don't have that. I am cranking on this wheel all the time. Then AC. Actually, my brake rotors are warped, so I got to do my brakes, then my power steering, and then someday I'll get around to doing the AC, and I won't be sweating to death in here. But it is what it is. Thank you guys for the love and support. Y'all are the best. Peace. Hitting the stop button on the first try.